What is the easiest way to study pharmacology? So many of you ask me now whether you are a medical student or you are a healthcare professional or someone very curiously interested in the subject. Do you find it very difficult and tough to learn pharmacology, especially during your exams? Do you really need some tips and strategies to easily and effectively prepare the subject in time when you're heading for your exams? Well, today's video is for you. Welcome all to Is Pharmacology Difficult podcast. I'm your host Dr. Radhika Vijay, MBBS MD Pharmacology, and this is the audio hub to get the best simplified basic tips, strategies, methods, and lots of ideas to learn better, understand better, and make your concepts crystal clear. If you really find, and if there's a question hovering in your minds, is pharmacology difficult? Lend me your ears for a while and let in the magic of knowledge. So, the topic for today is some easy tips and strategies to study the subject pharmacology effectively and gain more marks during your exams. So, without any delay, let's get started. Initially, the subject pharmacology seems very difficult, rather daunting, but don't worry. Today, I have some very simple and effective tips that will help you master this subject without taking any stress or burden. The first tip is understand the basics. Now you have to get used to this concept that pharmacology is the science of drugs. It deals with everything related to the drugs. So you have to build a strong foundation in the basics. What are the basics? The basics of pharmacology are the first important section, that is the general pharmacology. It involves pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics. So just invest some more time in these basic concepts. Secondly, whenever you are starting a topic, master the classification of the drugs. Once you have a very good understanding of the classification, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, you can proceed further in the particular topic very easily, and everything will start making a lot of sense to you. You will not be in a kind of chaos or disarray. The subject and the topic will become very organized when you will proceed after mastering the fundamentals. So just for your knowledge, pharmacokinetics is what the body does to the drug, pharmacodynamics is what the drug does to the body, and classification are the groups of the drugs based on certain criteria. Okay? Now, second very important tip is to have a kind of helping tools, that is like mnemonics, some visual aids. Once you start using the tools like mnemonics and visual aids, a complexity of the subject is broken down into small chunks which become simpler to learn and understand. Now, mnemonics are nothing but they are the tricks to recall the classification or certain concepts in a particular topic. You can remember some concepts like side effects, actions of the drugs, mainly the classification and the names of the drugs with the help of mnemonics. It's not always that you rely on the already made mnemonics that are found in books and guides, but if you are smart enough, you can build your own mnemonics. You can really build your own mnemonics. Then visual aids. Visual aids are like diagrams, flowcharts, flashcards, drug cards. You can make yourself. And the best way is when you are opening the topic for the first time, take some sheets of card sheets or paper sheets. And when you're going through the topic for the first time or the classification for the first time, take down notes and make the cards at the same time. And that is the best way to learn the name of the drugs. And the more smarter you'll act, the more you'll create for your own understanding or comprehension, your own mnemonics and visual flashcards or drug cards will make you remember the topic maximum rather than relying on books and guides which are already made mnemonics. Yes, sometimes they are the best ones. You don't find better ideas, so you can pick up from them. but try making your own mnemonics and ideas. That is the best way to learn this subject. Third important tip, relate these understanding or this information that you gain during the reading of the subject to the clinical picture or the clinical scenario, the real life picture. Suppose you are learning about a disease or pathology and its treatment. Just you can Google or you can search a video related to the management of a disease. Say you are reading about tuberculosis and you're reading the management. You can understand the disease, pathology, physiological concepts in a better way if you see a video also side by side, and you understand the management of the patient by seeing a video side by side. So that will make you remember these things for a longer period of time, because you should understand that pharmacology is a kind of very volatile subject. If you just cram it up, it will get inside soon, it will come out very soon. So don't rely upon cramming up. A little comprehension along with the cramming will really make it a longer lasting subject. The retention will be longer lasting. Next important tip, try to take break in between your study sessions. Don't sit for 2 hours and try to cram up 1 or 2 pages, and then you'll find that you're not proceeding further 2 pages. That is not the right way to study pharmacology. Try to study smart way. Sit for half an hour, read 1 page, revise it, take a break, again come back, read it, revise it. That is the way to enhance your retention. Whatever you have grasped or whatever you have learned, you can retain it for a longer time. And that is what the subject demands. So your longer sitting won't help here much, but more frequent revisions with the breaks will help here a lot. So short duration of sessions, take breaks and revise more. That is my key to successful learning of the subject pharmacology. Now, one of the methods that is very famous is Pomodoro technique. Now, what is that technique? I'll just explain you. Suppose you are studying for half an hour, say 25 to 30 minutes. Then you take a 5 to 10 minute break, and then you sit again for 25 to 30 minutes. This is known as Pomodoro technique. Now, what happens is that this technique, it helps to increase the concentration and the retention of whatever you have learned, and increases your speed of learning also. Reading speed also, learning speed also. And that is very common nowadays, the study technique adopted by many students and advanced professionals. So better go for such techniques and ideas. That is a smart way to learn and understand the subject. Next important tip, use technology, online resources. Well, you can do without them also. I was never dependent upon online resources and technology much. I was dependent upon myself, my techniques and tips, my writing method that helped me the most. But still nowadays, since technology has advanced so much, you can definitely take help of it. You can be a little dependent upon it, but don't be too much dependent upon these things. I will not advise you much, but yes, this is one of the tools that can really help you to learn the subject. So how can you use technology? You can go for quizzes, online question answers. You can follow some accounts which are offering some tests, these kind of things. So these things, yes, they do help. They help in the self-evaluations, and then you get to know how much you have learned, and then you can find your status. You can stay motivated with the help of these things, and then your learning can be enhanced, and it will become more effective and engaged. Next important tip, which may suit to some people and it doesn't suit to some people, is group study and discussions. Well, it does help many people, those who can study in groups. Well, to be very frank, I could never study in group myself. But yes, if you are one of those kinds who find better learning and understanding in a group study, go for it. So this advice is not for everybody, but yes, for those who does it help, go for it. The basic advantage of studying in group is that sometimes you get stuck. So you don't waste time yourself on struggling at things. You can be helped out in a group. I think that is the only advantage, that you save a little time. And if you're studying all by yourself, like I used to do, sometimes you get stuck and you keep on struggling over a concept. So that wastes some time. I think that is the only advantage of studying in the group. By learning is totally a solo thing and you have to rely upon yourself. So I don't think that learning is helped in a group. Yes, you can stay motivated. You can depend on a group for motivation also. When you see the other person studying, you can get motivated to start studying yourself. But yes, these are very secondary things. The best thing is to rely upon yourself, stay motivated and do the learning and do the smart study. So these were some important tips that today I gave you to study the subject easily. In the upcoming sessions, I will be bringing some tips that will really help you during the exams. I will also be giving you some tips to make a good study routine. I will be giving you some secret tips that will help you make the subject study fast. So these things you can all binge watch and make your own notes together of all these topics that I'll be covering up, and they will be really helpful to you to increase your marks and engagement in the subject pharmacology. Well, once you get into the subject, it is not at all boring. It is quite challenging and interesting, and you can really maintain your interest in the subject by adopting new techniques and acting smart. If you just sit down for 2 hours and close your eyes and try to cram up, definitely it will become very boring and exhaustive. And that is not the way to study any subject nowadays, I think so. So you should be really intelligent enough, wise enough to use the tools that I suggested today and try to break the complex things into smaller things and simpler things that will make everything very easy and effective. That is the main key point. So if you found this video useful and interesting, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share the video. In the end, I would just like to say, for all the updates and latest episodes of my podcast, do visit www.ispharmacologydifficult.com, where you can also sign up for a free monthly e-newsletter of mine. It contains a lot of updates about medical sciences, drug information updates, and my podcast updates also. You can follow me on different social media handles like Twitter, Insta, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They all are with the same name, is Pharmacology Difficult. If you're listening for the first time, do subscribe and follow whatever platform you are consuming this episode. Stay tuned. Do rate and review on iTunes, Apple Podcast. Stay safe, stay happy, stay enlightened. Thank you.